Hello everybody, welcome back to another video with Kat about Raid Shadow Legends. Today, ladies and gentlemen, we're talking about my new baby in my account, and that would not the one that's in my belly, whatever. He's not as cute. He's not as cute as Michinaki! Holy moly, everybody, we got Michinaki in the Prism Shard opening. I am so thrilled. He has been on my wish list for forever, and even though I'm talking shit about my baby, I think this is going to be our son's favorite Raid Shadow Legends champion, because we did back-to-back Prism Shard openings on my channel and on Boomer's channel, and when we did that, we pulled 3 Michinakis out of 15 shards. It was insane. So I think comment down below if you know a good place where I can get a Michinaki doll made, because I really want to get him one and have him play with a little glowing skull character, because that's what every good child needs, right? So we're going to do a showcase today. And you know, I do this as a way for me to learn the champions better. You guys can give me your input, or you guys can learn about a champion, hopefully, if you eventually get them. So that's why I do these showcases. But before we get into all of that, right now is a great time to start playing Raid Shadow Legends, because you get Corrado Fox Hunter, who is the same faction as Michinaki. The Shadowkin are samurais. And then you get Yugo, who once you get at level 10, and it looks like she will work pretty well alongside Michinaki as well. Lady Annabelle, who just looks great. No, she's also helpful in a lot of areas. And then Fane, who also looks great. Reminds me a lot of the girls I've seen who go to Coachella. But she's also an attack champion, so that's incredibly helpful in your account. Then you have to use the promo code Monkey King and get Sun Wukong, a hugely important champion to your account. I've told people to restart their whole account because they didn't use that promo code. And I was like, dude, just don't even bother. Just start a whole new account. Granted, he was like a week into his account, but still, it was like, dude, you need Sun Wukong. So, reminding you guys about that as well. So, we're going to start talking about Michinaki today. I normally have him, I do have him in my account, don't worry. But I have him on the screen because I'm actually going to start this video by talking about his lore, which is not something I normally do. But when I pulled him, I saw the head on the chain. And I was like, I need to know, is that Michinaki's head? What the hell is going on? So I went into his lore. He has a really interesting lore. So the idea behind this is Lady Mikage, the free mythical champion that you can fuse. She was kind of taking over her half of the world, and she was creating an autocracy. So Michinaki was one of her commanders, super ruthless, like well known for being terrible. So when the people were rebelling against Lady Mikage, they particularly went after Michinaki because he was so awful to people, and they had the sorcerer torture him for days by burning him alive with this green fire. Hence the fire skull kind of wackiness going on him. So he was burned alive for days and days, and pledged revenge on the sorcerer. So when he finally did break free, he didn't die. He became whatever this is now, and then he went and found the sorcerer and cut off his head, and now carries his head around with him. Like, just to remind people what happens when you fuck around with Michinaki. It's fantastic. Just go read the lore. It's incredible. So, point of it is, though, contrary to popular belief, that is not his own head. That is the sorcerer who tortured him and burned him alive. So he just carries around the guy he hates all the time. So Michinaki's a petty bitch, and I relate to that a lot. So now we can actually talk about him as a champion, the more practical aspects to him. So his kit centers entirely around Hex, which is one of my favorite debuffs. It's a debuff that, if a champion has it, then they will share the damage with other champions in their team. But the nice thing about his Hex is it also boosts his kit in a lot of other ways. So his A3 will place that Hex on all enemies for 2 turns. So everybody starts out with Hex. So the sooner you can get that, you can book them up and get all that cooldowns as low as possible, the better, because then you can just keep placing a loop of Hex. I won't keep it going entirely because it's only for 2 turns, but then it's only 1 turn that they don't have Hex, and it's fine. But his passive allows him to team up whenever an ally attacks somebody under Hex. So he has a 50% chance of teaming up and joining that attack, which is really helpful when his A1, which is what he would attack with, has a 50% chance of placing HP burn. So we know like Hex, HP burn, poison, these are all means of adding on, stacking damage and compounding, which is huge in some of the areas of the game that we'll talk about in a little bit. His A2 is another AoE. This one has a it's a decent enough chance. It'll be 100% once you fully book him up, of placing decreased defense debuff for 2 turns. And if they're under Hex, there's also a chance of him placing decreased attack. So it kind of shuts them down in a little bit. And all these debuffs are key to everything that he works. So when you have him built up, where we're going to go check out my guy right now. When you build him up, it's important to go for accuracy and speed. You also want, for the sake of damage, you also want to include some crit damage and crit rate. And you want to include defense because that's where a lot of his damage comes from, him being a defense champion. That also allows him to stay around long enough to really keep screwing around with everybody. So this guy, I built him mainly with Feral, Perception, and Pinpoint gear, only because you get a good boost of speed and accuracy. For where I'm going to be playing with him, I'm not worried so much about the speed, so I leaned more into the accuracy side of it. So I have his accuracy at 164. I know that's not super high. It was the highest I could get at the moment. We're going to have to do a big re-gear soon. His speed is 146, but at least I got him somewhere. We're starting off. So I have him built up as much as I possibly can. I got to ascend him one more time and so I can get that last banner, and I'll make sure I give him one last boost of accuracy. So I touched on a little bit why you want to have him, why these debuffs are so important, mainly these damage dealing debuffs. So one of his best areas is going to be Ice Golem Peak. What I think I'm going to do is I'm going to take out Rio here. And I want to see if Lilith can just carry everything on her own, and then we just have poison and HP burn and damage. All right, so now that we're through the waves, what I want to show you here is that with Ice Golem, he's got thresholds, like invisible little amounts of, like thresholds of damage that when you cross pass, once his HP drops below a certain threshold, such as 80%, 75%, it will trigger his attack and he'll revive both of his dudes. So the idea is you want to be able to do as much damage to him as possible in a single turn and in one shot. So being able to compound with poison sensitivity, poison, hex, HP burn, all of those things, the more you can compound that, and when he takes his turn, the more damage you'll be able to do, and those fewer revives you're going to have to deal with. So that's why Michinaki is big helpful here. And you can see that big chunk that just fell down, and it crossed over a lot of thresholds. So it looks like we were able to move past that revive. There we go. All right, so that was because we crossed one of those more thresholds. So the more, if you can do those big chunks, it saves you so much time. It makes Ice Golem a lot less of a pain. And you just want to make sure that your team has, good healing and all that kind of stuff. See, just like that. So you want to take it out in as big of a shot as you possibly can, and then you're good. So Michinaki is a big help here. And I also know, so he's going to be helpful here, and I want to move forward through Ice Golem because you can see I'm not that far into Ice Golem. I haven't tried, but now that I have Michinaki, I think I can move all the way, moving into hard mode like I've been able to do in Spider and Dragon. Another area that is super helpful with Michinaki is clan bosses. Any of the clan bosses, to be exact. Demon Lord and Hydra, he has a 5-star rating. Chimera, he has 4.5. So just all of the clan bosses in general, he is going to be your best buddy. So we're going to try him out in Hydra because somebody hasn't done her Hydra yet. That would be me. So we're going to try him out. I'm going to go easy on him. We're going to start in normal, and I want to see where I can go from here. So my thought here is I might take out Husk, only because Michinaki is a little higher. He's ranked up. He's got a little bit more power. We see Husk is way over here. Michinaki's up here. So we're going to see how that can do. We're going to do a quick battle to see we can hit those thresholds. So for this, we want to be able to do at least 666 damage. This devil's number. We're going to see what we can do with this. Okay, so 483. That's not bad. I feel like it could do better, so I'm actually going to discard this, and we're going to see how it does with Husk, and we're going to compare. So Michinaki is a huge help, so we're going to go back and do Michinaki again. So what I'm going to do now, so Boomer taught me this, doing the quick battles as a way to kind of see how your champions can do. And then you can go in and do it manually and hit your threshold that you really need. So I'll do that at a later time. But it looks like Michinaki is already a much bigger help. And that would make sense because he's, sharing damage across the board with Hex and also HP burn, which, just compounds that damage and gets through those big chunkies like that. So overall, he is a massive addition to my account. I am incredibly happy to have him. I'd been wanting him for a while and we talked about that, but I'm also looking forward to the fact that I am now only 2 champions away. I still only need to summon 2 more champions, and then I'll be able to get Lady Mikage. And even though their lore is very fused together, their kits work really well together as well. So I'm excited that we're building up the pyramid. I've got her right hand commander, and we are on our way to Mikage, and I'm super excited about it. So let me know down in the comments if you have any questions or suggestions on how to use Michinaki. I am looking forward to developing him as time goes on. Looking forward to ascending him and getting that last banner on him. But otherwise, thank you guys so much for being here. Don't forget, if you haven't already, click the link in the description and get your own Samurai Handsome. That would be Corrado Fox Hunter. Yugo once you hit level 10. Lady Annabelle once you hit level 20. And Fane once you hit level 30. And do not forget to use that promo code Monkey King and get Sun Wukong. I'm going to be disappointed if you don't. Thank you guys again for being here, and I will see you in the next video.